We turn our attention to the children with loved ones who are serving in any of the 6 branches of the U.S. Armed Forces. April is a month dedicated to the children of these service members, and today in Monroe County, one school came together to recognize and honor these children. As our Austin Harmon explains, they did so by putting one foot in front of the other.
A military service member's life can be a challenge. That challenge extends to their family as well. That's why one school in Union came together to recognize them. Mountain View Elementary Middle School staged their first ever Ruck March. It's the finale of a week-long celebration featuring students and local veterans.
We've done several activities throughout the school in trying to support our children. We dressed in designated ways throughout the week and that kind of thing. So this was just kind of the final, thing that we wanted to do to support and to tie in our community.
This Ruck March brings several community members together, including the James Monroe JROTC, the American Legion, and National Guardsmen and Women. One military man shares his thoughts on the guests of honor of this celebration.
Military kids, I believe, are more resilient than any kids out there, because they have to go through trials that other kids don't have to go through. They have to go through these deployments knowing that their father or mother is in an area that is not safe, knowing that they're in an area that they may not be able to talk to them for several weeks at a time.
Students got into the spirit of the occasion, chanting as they returned to the school at the end of their march. While it did not have the precision of the military, it did embody the spirit of it. Here for you in Monroe, Austin Harmon, WVVA News.
Thank you for that report, Austin. Mountain View's principal describes the march as a success, and they already have plans to do it again next year.